The quote, "A house divided against itself cannot stand," comes from a speech delivered by Abraham Lincoln on June 16, 1858, in Springfield, Illinois, upon accepting the Illinois Republican Party's nomination for the U.S. Senate. The speech is often referred to as the House Divided speech. The context behind the quote: slavery debate. At the time of Lincoln's speech, the United States was deeply divided over the issue of slavery. The Missouri Compromise, the Compromise of 1850, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act had all attempted to address the issue of whether new territories admitted to the Union would allow slavery or not. Dred Scott. In 1857, the Supreme Court's Dred Scott decision declared that slaves were property and not citizens, and therefore the federal government had no authority to regulate slavery in the territories. This decision heightened tensions and intensified the debate over the expansion of slavery into new territories. Lincoln's Senate campaign. Abraham Lincoln was challenging the incumbent Senator Stephen A. Douglas, a Democrat. Lincoln, a relatively unknown figure at the time, gained attention for his articulate arguments against the spread of slavery into the territories. The meaning behind the quote. The full quote is, "A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently, half slave and half free. I do not expect the Union to be dissolved. I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other." Metaphor of a house. Lincoln uses the metaphor of a house to symbolize the nation. The house divided against itself represents the deep and growing divide between the northern states, where slavery was largely abolished or restricted, and the southern states, where slavery was a crucial part of the economy and society. Prediction of future conflict. Lincoln's central message is a prediction about the future of the United States. He suggests that the nation cannot continue indefinitely with half the states allowing slavery and half prohibiting it. He anticipates that the nation will ultimately become either all slave or all free. Rejection of compromise. Lincoln rejects the idea of a perpetual compromise between free and slave states. He argues that such a compromise would be unsustainable and the nation would eventually become entirely one way or the other. Call to action. Lincoln's speech serves as a call to action, urging citizens to engage in the political process to prevent the further spread of slavery. He believed that the nation had to resolve the issue of slavery in order to survive and fulfill its founding principles. Lincoln's House Divided speech is significant because it foreshadowed the intensification of the sectional conflict that would ultimately lead to the outbreak of the Civil War 3 years later. The speech showcased Lincoln's keen understanding of the deep-rooted issues dividing the nation and established him as a compelling voice against the expansion of slavery.